welcome to the Wrestling Escape Pod channel. I never even know what channel I'm on these days. I'm on all the channels. Yes, this might look a little bit like lower definition. It's because we are using now a completely different laptop. I like to just mix it up. We was on the newer laptop for the watch along we just did. And now we're back onto the older laptop. So settings on this and everything are all scaled down and it's all a little bit, but honestly, I just didn't think that you deserved any better. So, yes, get used to it. So, this is the Wrestling Escape Pod channel. We are going to be deciding what we're going to be doing on Thursday for our watch-along. For those of you that joined me just over on the Wrestling Days channel, as always, a big thank you. Genuinely mean that. It's obviously a little strange to just do these retrospective watch-alongs, which is something I always avoided doing. I never used to do them, and I don't know what the future of them is going to look like, if I'm being honest, because I know that people want toy hunts back. I know that people want figure videos back. I know that there's other things as well, just I'd love to start like doing, not show reviews, but just, I don't know, I think there's just an absolute wealth of stuff on the network that a lot of people just aren't looking at. Just like old SmackDowns, old Raws, old Nitros, just like loads of stuff that I would love to start going through. I don't know what I'd be looking for, and I don't know how I would present it, but I'm really interested in going back and using some of that, Just, there's a lot of eyes on the new stuff, but there's so much old stuff out there. Some really fun and interesting stuff, as we keep finding with these watch-alongs. I mean, look at what we just saw. We just saw the Velveteen Dream debut video package, which I thought was quite interesting. Velveteen Dream coming this Wednesday, So I thought that was quite interesting, quite, intriguing. Plus, I'd forgotten Bobby Roode, Hideo Itami. I forgot that match had even taken place, and that was a show that only happened a few years ago that I'd seen. So what out there from random Raws and things like that have I not seen? And what crazy video packages are out there, and I'm kind of toying with the idea of playing around with that. So the reason I say all this is because I'm going to need time. That's all of that is going to take time. So it kind of means that we are definitely staring down the barrel of less watch-alongs. I'm not sure when we'll get to that. I don't know if Chalmers was correct earlier. Chalmers said that we might have been doing this for like 67 days in a row. There's a part of me that goes, well, we've got to get to 100. Do you know what I mean? We've got to. Because I already know the next 10 days are sorted. So there's 77. So we would only need another 23. But I don't know if that's me just losing my mind a little bit. So I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But let's have a look and see what people are shouting for. Yes, we might as well start with the poll. As we said, we're going to stick around for about an hour. So we might as well. I've got a beer. I said I would. I gave you warning. Money in the Bank 2014 says Swamp Manor. Armageddon 99 says C Wrestling. That's interesting. I'm looking for, and this is always difficult, I'm looking for ones that match up. Takeover War Games 1. Bash at the Beach 95. Armageddon 99 is a good shout. Global Warning 2002. Takeover Philadelphia. There's just a lot of people. Global Warning would be good, but needs to really have someone else shouting it in as well. I can see James Chadwick saying Armageddon 99, the same as C Wrestling. How long is Armageddon 99? Let me have a look. Let me have a look and see. Armageddon 1999 is not available. Great. Armageddon. I've probably spelt it wrong. Armageddon is not a great word for me to have to try and spell, if I'm being honest. I've definitely spelt it wrong. How do you spell Armageddon? Do you know what? I'll just go back to whatever C said. Where are you, C? Where's your comment? Armageddon. 249. Done. Armageddon. 99. Done. In. It made it. Swamp Man keeps saying Money in the Bank 2014. Oh, so does the Dukes. How long is Money in the Bank 2014? Money in the Bank 2014 is 2 hours 50. You can have it. You can have it, baby. Money in the Bank 2014. Takeover Philadelphia. Okay, that's the next one I saw. Takeover Philadelphia. Have we seen that one already? When was Takeover Philadelphia? If it's recent, there might already be a watch-along, and it seems silly to do a watch-along when there's a watch-along that exists. Philadelphia. This is another word I can't spell. I can't spell. Philadelphia. Oh my God, why can't we just watch in your house? Oh man, I still haven't spelt it right. This is a real test for me. A real test. NXT Takeover Philadelphia. Here we go. If it's going to be since... Not Portland. Not Blackpool. Not War Games. Not Cardiff. Not Toronto. I still haven't spelt it right, so I'm having to find it. Not New York. Not Phoenix. Not 25. Not Cardiff. Not Brooklyn. Chicago 2. War Games. Philadelphia. January 27th, 2018. I think there's a good chance we haven't done that, you know. I think there's a very good chance we've not done that. In fact, what I'm going to do is... I'm going to quickly search the Wrestling Days. How weird is this? I'm going to have to quickly search the Wrestling Days account to see if there is a watch-along or not. 'Cause I don't even know what shows I've done anymore. Take over. Phil. It's Philadelphia. That's where I was going wrong. Philadelphia. Right, here we go. I did a review of it, and I asked the question of, is this match of the year? But it is nothing but a preview, a review, and reaction videos. There is no watch-along, so NXT TakeOver Philadelphia makes the list. TakeOver Philadelphia. Okay. SummerSlam 2005 might be a touch long. King of the Ring 98. I think there's only one for that. SummerSlam 2005 I would love to do. Backlash 2018. Slamboree 1997. I've just got Foot the Great with that one. SummerSlam 2005. Shaquem. I know you keep firing it in, but no one's joined you. Can we not have conversations before so that more than one person jumps in? Right. What's the latest ones that we've got? Days in Your House, Mind Games, Swamp Manor. It's just you, Swamp Manor. King of the Ring 98 says Colin. King of the Ring 98 says Colin. That was the latest one to come through. King of the Ring 98 says Lee. King of the Ring 98. King of the Ring 1998. King of the Ring 1998. Are you over 3 hours? No! Right, that can have it as well. King of the Ring 1998. Done. Those are our 4. Right, let's jump over to the Wrestling Escape Pod channel. What shall we watch on Thursday? Armageddon 1999, which I can't recall anything other than The Undertaker, and I can only recall The Undertaker because he was on the thumbnail. NXT Takeover Philly, which I asked the question, is this match of the year for 2018? There's no watch along on the channel. Or King of the Ring. Been quite nice to watch King of the Ring, actually. Right, let's set that for 45 minutes. We got 45 minutes to go. Right, 45 minutes, that is set. So, what shall we watch on Thursday? Armageddon 1999, Money in the Bank 2014, NXT TakeOver Philadelphia, King of the Ring 1998. That has been tweeted out. If you go to Wrestling Escape Pod right now, then you can vote on that poll as we speak. One thing I've not done today is I've not had a look at 2 WWE stars tease jump into AEW. A Twitter interaction between Eric of the Viking Raiders and Matt Hardy has fans on social media buzzing. I didn't hear about this. The Viking Raiders would consider jumping to AEW when their contracts expire. What's this about? What does that mean? It started when Matt shared a tweet of a match from a few years ago in Oklahoma when they faced Eric and Ivar when they were known as War Machine. The match took place in 2016 at Ring of Honor. Hardy said this clip recently resurfaced a few years ago in Oklahoma. The Broken Hardys had an experience with the Viking Raiders. They're a tremendous team, and it was a hell of a match. Eric said, until we meet again. Matt says, I anxiously await that meeting. Ivar also commented, we are still awaiting our rematch. Hashtag join the raid. These teases sound like a tease that they are going to go to AEW eventually. Well, there we go. Viking Raiders having a little bit of stir in the pot. Getting a few people talking. I never heard about that. I'm just looking at the news now because I never actually got a chance to look at the news at any point today. WWE finishes taping a huge title fight for SmackDown. So I'm guessing that is the Intercontinental. So Intercontinental match has been taped. Wow. I'm going to hit my head on a door multiple times. Okay, Creed. Have fun. But also stay safe. I just thought I'd killed him. The Undertaker shares a horrifying story. Shane McMahon thanked Matt Riddle for not beating up Goldberg. I did hear about that, yes. The bizarre reason for talent not having chairs. Here we go. I have wondered this. Dave Meltzer said that several talents had lost their voice. WWE might swap some of those out that have lost their voices. They might also want to give them some seats. Well, what's the reason? What's the reason why they didn't give him a seat? It doesn't say. Well, not that I can see. Weirdly, the crowd could sit down in between matches. WWE didn't provide chairs to them, though. I didn't know that. So the crowd could, on Raw and SmackDown, they could sit down in between matches, but WWE didn't give them any chairs to do that, so you had to bring your own chair. It was bring your own chair to work day. And but they just never told anyone. Check Twitter on the pie thing. Oh, I can't be bothered. It was years ago. Days in your house mind games. HBK versus Foley would have been amazing, bud. Vote for Money in the Bank 2014. Cena versus Wyatt versus Reigns versus Orton versus Cesaro versus Sheamus. Bembo says, Days, how do you think WWE are bringing back Ronda? I think they will bring her back to help Shayna win the Raw Women's Championship. After the match, Ronda turns on Shayna. I don't know. I find it so difficult to talk about the future because I'm very much of the opinion WWE don't quite know what they're doing. I think there's been a lot of plans changed. I think plans are still changing. I think they're dragging stories out that they want crowds to see. We don't know if Ronda would have come back already. We don't know if the hacker story was meant to run this long. We know there was a big storyline that was dropped. So I'm kind of the opinion that so much is changing that they've maybe got a few things penciled in, but it's just honestly a little bit fruitless. It's a little bit fruitless to kind of speculate and go, well, I think this is going to happen, that's going to happen. Then all of a sudden there's a draft, or all of a sudden the crowd's back, and as we said, there's a superstar shakeup, or someone comes down with coronavirus and we don't end up seeing them for a little bit and they got to self-isolate, or that person's family gets it. I mean, there's just so many variables. Half the superstars might be out rioting right now, so do you know what I mean? Like, we've got that to contend with as well. Rey Mysterio might be looting a mask shop as we speak. I don't know. So, I just think there's a lot of variables, which makes it very difficult to answer who's going to take the title off Drew, who's going to beat Asuka in the future, do you know what I mean? Let's just wait and see. Let's just wait. That's my opinion. Let's just wait and see. We'll find out together soon enough when it happens. Guys, 1 week without Total Divas isn't going to kill you, says Austin316. John says, vote takeover Philly for Andrade versus Gargano and Cole versus Black in a no DQ. Right, okay, we have decided that when it comes to the Wrestling Escape Pod, that's going to be recorded on Tuesday, and this week's topic, so it gets recorded on Tuesday, you then see it on Friday, right? So nothing has been recorded now. You have seen everything that's been recorded, so there is no hidden lost episodes or anything, right? So we're meeting on Tuesday. On Tuesday we're going to be recording best WrestleMania entrances. That's what you guys voted for last week, so that's exactly what's going to be recorded. So I've decided that will be episode 9. I think for episode 10 we do a questions and answers. I think that you guys get a chance to speak to me a lot, obviously in different streams, and I try to get round to people's questions, and I try to answer things, and even if I don't answer your question, I might end up answering the question you were going to ask by someone else anyway. So I kind of feel like I've answered a lot of stuff. But I know that you guys haven't really had a chance to speak to Tommy or find out more about Tommy or things like that. So I just kind of thought that, Tommy's a big YouTuber as well. His channel's at, 86,000, nearly 87,000. And you got to remember that he hasn't been active for a couple of years. He took a couple of years off. He was the person that inspired me. He was the person that I looked at and was like, man, I'd love to be like that. So, that's why I'm loving doing the podcast with him, because if it wasn't for him, there wouldn't be a Wrestling Days. Simple as that. If it wasn't for Tommy, there wouldn't be a Wrestling Days. So I just kind of thought it might be really cool to do a Q&A, because it's going to be the 10th episode. So I'm not going to ask you for topics. Guess what I'm going to ask you for? Questions. That's what I'm going to ask you for, questions. But the kind of questions that I'm hoping to get from you guys are going to be timeless ones, because that's very much the theme of the podcast. So it's no good saying who's going to get the title off Drew, because one day we will find out, and then that question will be redundant, right? It needs to be more like, what's the best WrestleMania, or what's your favorite WrestleMania, or what's your favorite match, or what's your favorite female superstar, or what's your favorite, or what's your least favorite, or do you know what I mean? Any of those that can be quick little questions and answers. So I know it's a little bit cringe to ask for questions, but that's exactly what I'm doing. So if you've got any questions that you want to fire in, otherwise I'll just make them up. I'm quite happy to make them up, but I thought it might be quite nice. Can you ask multiple questions? You can. I can't guarantee I'll ask them all, because I will shout you out. I will say, right, we've got a question here from Jerry Smith. And Jerry's question is, what's the best WrestleMania moment? WrestleMania moment. And I'm actually writing that down. What's the best WrestleMania moment? So that's perfect. Exactly that kind of thing. I don't know if I can ask him what the best woman is on his dating app, because I don't know how much he's actually explored that dating app. I am very much going to be asking him more about that, don't you worry. But I'm not sure I can necessarily ask him that. Master Wayne says, do it live. I have been wondering about that. The only problem is, what I really like about the podcast is it's got a nice flow to it, because it's not like stop-start where we're like reading questions out and then having to think about answers. Because it's all like researched and prepared in advance, it can be presented a lot better, if you will. So I kind of feel that we can get points across better, and we can just kind of go with it. And if we end up branching off, I've got some notes I can always kind of come back to. If it's live, I will be distracted by you guys, and I will want to include you guys. That's the whole point of it being live. So I think we will do a live one, but I can't see that being for this show. I like that. The Dukes. Favorite championship? The Dukes has asked. Favorite championship? I'm going to look for about... How many questions I'm going to look for? It's on for about an hour. So let's say it takes about 5 minutes to answer a question. So if it's 5 minutes to answer your question, I'm going to need around about 12 questions, aren't I? So I've got 2. So I've got spaces for another 10 questions. Brandon Woodhead. I like that. Brandon Woodhead asks, if Tommy was a superstar, what would his gimmick be? I'm just going to slightly change it to, what would your gimmick be? If you were a superstar. I took the Tommy out because I want to answer it as well. And I'm not Tommy. Spoiler. Favorite indie promotion? I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many. I've not seen that many. That's going to be difficult for me to answer. Might be easier for him to answer. But I want to take part. What's the greatest Mania match of all time? I feel like, have we discussed that? Was that in the Mania one? I can't remember if that's been discussed. Might have been discussed. Most emotional moment. Okay. Swamp Manor. Most emotional moment. Some great questions here, by the way. Well done, everyone. Question for Tommy. Why question for Tommy? It doesn't have to be for Tommy. Right, I'm here as well, you know. What's your favourite wrestling action figure of all time? I think he's answered that. I know that when I put that to him, he came back with the Drew Gulak. What's your guys' favourite Wrestling Escape Pod episode? Might be a bit early for that because we've only done 9, or we will have by the time we've done this. Favourite wrestling match for the best. Favourite wrestling matches for the best match ever at Backlash. I don't even understand what that means. What do you think are some of the top qualities a wrestler needs to have? Oh, Miss Clown 1. That is great. What qualities? I'm changing it slightly again. What qualities do a top wrestler need? Love that. Love that. Ooh, love that. DJ B Tazzy, I like that. It's nice and simple. DJ B Tazzy. Favorite heel. Who is your favorite heel? If you can be and AEW or WWE, which one will you be? I'm not starting that conversation. Not starting that conversation. Favorite foreign objects or weapons? Oh, that could be fun. LSW. Favorite objects / weapons. That's question number 7. We're up to question number 7. So next one is question 8. Master Wayne. Master Wayne asks, best promo ever. I like that. Don't worry if we don't get around to asking yours. This is obviously a very different kind of an episode, but I think this is maybe an episode that we would do. I could see us doing this like every 10 episodes or something. I think that it's just once we get to like episode 10, we'll do a Q&A. Once we get to episode 20, we'll probably do the same. Episode 30, we'll probably do the same. And then that way we can really get through quite a few questions. So yeah, if you don't make it on this one, don't worry. Favorite championships we've already put down. Oh, JS17. Oh, I like that. That is I really like that. JS17. Have you ever gone off wrestling? And why? I like that. Because I sort of did. Well, I didn't, but I can cover it. I did and I didn't. And it was in the 90s. And I've got an answer for that question. So, but I'll save it. We've got best promo. Have we got best promo? I think we've got, yeah. Master Wayne with best promo. Earliest memory of wrestling. I've shared mine, and I think Tommy was quite late to wrestling. I'm sure he mentioned on a Wrestling Escape Pod. Favorite pay-per-view. Have we covered that? Foot the Great. I'll ask it. Foot the Great asks, favorite pay-per-view. Okay, that's question 10. Looking for about 2 more. Best world champion we never got is a very good question. That's very good. Best WWE crowd member. Well, it's got to be green shirt guy, hasn't it? It's got to be green shirt guy. Chalmers, favorite wrestling finishers. It's kind of like that for me. Hobbies outside of wrestling. Ooh. Would I go that way? I'm going to try and keep it wrestling, I think. Because we already know I'm going to explore his dating app escapades. That's already going to take us out of wrestling enough, I think. I like the question, though. I do like the question, though. Best finisher, best submission. Daze, what's the difference between a light bulb and a pregnant woman? You can't unscrew a light bulb. Hello. Sonny Wolf says, favourite movie? Vincent Van Gogh or Bob Ross? Favourite WWE manager? Oh, favourite manager's quite interesting. They're kind of unsung heroes, aren't they? Yeah, I'll do that, Sonny. Favourite manager? Sonny Wolf. Favourite manager. Boom. Most boring wrestler. I'm going to try and keep it positive, I think. Days, WWE OMG Moments Friday. What does that mean? Oh, what, as a subject? Oh, we're going to do that on the future. Do an AEW special episode. We could definitely do that. We're gonna do this question 1 as 10, and then next Sunday we'll obviously do this stream again, and then we'll decide what the next actual topic will be. And I'd be quite happy to talk AEW. Best characters. Yeah, go on then. Chalmers. Best characters. Chalmers. Done. Right, if you've got one that you really, it was burning. Do you know what I mean? It was like, oh, I really wanted that. If it's one that was like, then drop it in a tweet and send it over to Wrestling Escape Pod. Obviously, if it's one you're just like, I'm not bothered, right? Then don't bother. We can, because we will do it again in the future. If it's one that can wait, then we will get to it, right? But if it was one that was like burning through your veins, then ping it over to the Wrestling Escape Pod at Wrestling ePod. And with that being said, we need to do a quick update with our poll, because we are at the halfway point now. I set it for 45 minutes, and I can see we've got around just under 23 minutes left. There's been 102 votes, so it's been quite a bit of engagement on this, which is awesome. So 102 votes at Wrestling ePod Twitter account, and so far, by the smallest of margins, NXT TakeOver Philadelphia is in the lead. TakeOver Philadelphia in the lead with 33%, and Armageddon 1999 with 31. Money in the Bank and King of the Ring both on 18. So NXT TakeOver Philadelphia in the lead by 2%. 2% so far. Days, are you Green Gang or Team Purple? I don't know what that means. I did see that, and I don't know what that means. Will we do a poll for Sunday? No, we can't, because it's NXT TakeOver in your house. There was nothing on for today, which is why we had a gap. We had a space. We had an opportunity. And, yeah, so I took that opportunity. So that's why we were able to watch NXT TakeOver Chicago. But next week we've got NXT TakeOver in your house. So yeah, we are moving that way. Favorite theme song would have been a good one. Marcus, I think we've covered it. It's if you've not seen that episode, I can't remember what number episode it is, but we did a whole 50 odd minutes on entrance music. I really enjoyed that episode, actually. I gotta say, I mean, the whole Wrestling Escape Pod thing is exactly what I was hoping it was going to be. Really is exactly what I was hoping it was going to be. I wanted it to be an hour, no more than an hour in length, different topic each week. I wanted it to be fun and humorous and, enjoyable to listen to. And it's really good for me to see the feedback on a Friday and seeing people laughing along and everything with when we're just having a bit of fun. So I feel like it's hitting the right notes. I feel like it's where I was hoping it was going to be. And once we've got 100 episodes under our belt, then hopefully we'll have a nice little thing up and running, So appreciate all the support, and gonna just keep doing them, keep doing what we've been doing, and I think they're working. So favorite mods, asks Calling Corner. Oh, I can't think of one, in all fairness. Chomper returns at Takeover Philadelphia. Sunny Wolf says top 5 stream mods. Jacoby says, I'm going to wait until the last minute, you cheeky little monkey. Days, can we watch June 2006, 2016? It's the one where they're all on ladders. And Bean says that he can wrestle a polar bear and calls Jericho a cross-legged dork. Amazing. Well, that sounds amazing. I do remember that segment. The show started with that, didn't it? It's when it opens, they're already up there. They don't come down and climb. They're already there, which it was very weird. Very, very weird. C says, it won't be me, Jesse. I'm willing to push Days off of a cliff. Oh, I won't hold that against you. Many people want to do that as well. If honestly, if I held that against you, I'd be eliminating pretty much everyone. Favorite person on the mic? Well, right now, if I was to give a mic to someone, I'd be thrusting it in either Asuka's direction or Nikki Cross. Or Nikki Cross did a great promo the other week, and then when she was on commentary, she was excellent. She can get annoying, but she's doing the right things at the right time, if that makes sense. Like, when she needed to cut a serious promo when she was in the ring with the Iconics, she nailed it. When she needed to be annoying on the outside on commentary, she nailed it. So I kind of fit. And when she needed to be funny with the New Day on Moment of Bliss, she did a great job. She did a really great job. So she was dancing around and everything as well. So she's really showing how versatile she is. So I've really got a big appreciation with Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross has really stood out to me. So I do like her. But yeah, I've got a soft spot for Asuka, haven't I? I have got a soft spot for Asuka. Although Jericho in AEW, you never know what he's going to come out with. He's just incredible. He just comes out with such incredible lines. Even that little bit of bubbly, he said it and he didn't mean to say it. It wasn't scripted. He's just said it and gone, oh, a little bit of bubbly, and before you know it, it's everywhere. He's having his own champagne made and T-shirts made, and do you know what I mean? He comes out with stuff that's incredible and he doesn't even intend to. So yeah, I'd be there's a few that I'd be giving a microphone to. Days, Nikki Cross and Dean Ambrose would be a great mixed tag team because they are both crazy. I agree. It was for 10 million. I would push anyone off a cliff for that amount. The 30 years in prison would be worth it. Dude, if you push me off a cliff, you ain't getting 30 years. You're getting the Victoria Cross, right? You're going to get a knighthood. So, yeah, you'd have 10 million and you'd also be recognised by the Queen. Do you think Brett versus Doink was a good match? No, not really. I seem to recall, was that SummerSlam? Was it meant to be Brett versus Jerry Lawler? And Jerry Lawler came down on crutches and said he couldn't compete. And so instead, Doink comes down. I seem to recall the match was a bit throwaway. And then it turned out Jerry Lawler didn't really need the crutches. And then he smacks Bret Hart with one of the crutches. If that's the match you're talking about, I don't remember it being anything other than just a throwaway distraction in many ways. What about favourite indie match? I don't watch enough indie wrestling for me to answer that. But we will do an indie episode where I will just go, I'll quite happily turn around and go, I'm out my comfort zone. I'm not going to be able to provide much for this. This is yours, Tommy. And Tommy can just go off on that. Because he's got a bigger knowledge of indie wrestling than what I've got. And that's very much what he enjoyed watching more so than WWE and stuff like that. So, yeah, we will do an episode on that. I got to be honest, though. That's not a stream I'm looking forward to. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if you've noticed, but I love to talk. I think part of the problem is I'm so used to just talking. Like, you got to remember, like, we did a stream last night for 6.5 hours. And there's only me here. So if I'm not talking, no one's talking. So I can't cope with, like, there being even a moment of silence. I'm not used to it. If there's a moment of silence, I have to fill it. I have to fill it with something. I have to say something. I can't cope with there being, like, a silence. So when I'm doing the podcast, if there's, like, a moment's pause, I don't wait. I fill it. I have to. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I'm a bricklayer. If there's like even a moment where the conversation dies down, right, that's it. Let's fill that in quick. Let's get in with something. So yeah, I do talk a lot, which probably isn't the best for Tommy trying to get his points across, but I think he understands. Daze, what was your opinion on Dean Ambrose's gimmick and your opinion on Jon Moxley's wrestling? And if he was in your rankings, would he be in the top 100? What? Dean Ambrose's gimmick was okay. I think they had the foundation or something. They just never went far enough with it. It was meant to be this unhinged lunatic, the lunatic fringe. But what did he do that made him a lunatic? I mean, there wasn't anything. But I don't know what they would let him do that was a lunatic, you know? I kind of feel like there was the foundation there of him being like this real outsider, but it never came off. It never worked. They made him too relatable, and he tried to do like an extreme match with Brock, and Brock didn't want to know, and I just kind of think that he was left very frustrated. So I can't rate Ambrose's gimmick that high because I think the foundation was there, but it never went far enough. And I had high hopes for him when he was in the Shield. I had high hopes for him. I always saw him when he was in the Shield. Who was the guy that was the leader in the A-Team? What was he called? Face? Was he called Face? And he was kind of the leader and he always had a cigar. You know, you had the Muscles that was Mr. T. The Shield was definitely based on the A-Team. Definitely based on the A-Team. Because you had the sexy one, didn't you? I can't remember who he was, but he had like black hair, and he looked exactly like Seth, right? So Seth's the sexy one. Roman is Mr. T, and then the leader of the group's the one that always had the cigar. And for me, that was Dean Ambrose. I can't remember their names. Hannibal. I don't know what he was called, but they're basically the A-Team. So fighting for justice and all of this, a vigilante group that fights for justice. All they needed to do was run into a garage and take a few paper clips and make a tank, and they would have been the A-Team. So I always felt that Ambrose was closest to that guy, and I always thought that he would have a great solo career, and he did. In fairness, he went on to win the WWE Championship and be at the top of the card and everything. But they didn't go far enough with it for me, and so I would say it was all right, but it could have been a lot better. And what was your other question? Jon Moxley's wrestling. Not great, to be honest. I don't get too excited for Moxley matches, and I think part of the problem with his match at Double or Nothing for me was that all of the outside activity was completely devalued by the fact that it was coming after Hikaru Shida against Nyla Rose, because Hikaru Shida and Nyla Rose fought outside the ring in the stadium. They were knocking each other into the big casino chips. They were hurling each other into the railings. They were doing all this stuff around the ring. And then the very next match, you get Moxley and Brody Lee kind of doing very similar. Well, I was like, okay, I've seen this. I mean, I've literally just seen all of this. So it kind of lost all of its impact. Like, all of that stuff around the ringside area, I feel like you can do it once. But we'd seen it in the casino ladder match, earlier in the night. And then we saw outside interference with Cody and Lance. And then we saw them fighting around the ringside area. So I kind of feel that he needed for his match to have like a really good just brawl, but try and keep it in the ring. And it didn't really go that way. It didn't really go that way. There wasn't really anything that I could say I saw other than them going through the entranceway. When he went through the entranceway, I thought that was a great moment. Completely undervalued, undersold, underappreciated by the commentators. The commentators in that I don't know what's going on with the commentators. I don't know what's going on with JR. Legit, I don't know what's happening with JR. JR just doesn't seem switched on. Doesn't seem to care. Doesn't seem to be into it. Doesn't seem to... I don't know what's happening. Maybe it's old age. Maybe he's just lost it. Maybe, if you're a wrestler, you miss a step, don't you? Maybe if you're a commentator, I don't know. I just don't know what it is. But I was expecting God Almighty is broken in half and just didn't get anywhere near that for what I thought looked like a really great spot. So that was the highlight of that match for me. But the rest of it I thought was largely forgettable, largely throwaway, just more of the same and nothing that really grabbed my attention. And I kind of feel that way about quite a lot of his matches, if I'm being honest. I'm not really seeing... He's a brawler, and I understand that that's a very unique style, and you're not necessarily... It's hard if you're a brawler to get like a 5-star match. We've said that quite a few times. If you're a technical wrestler that can do reversals and intricate moves, and do you know what I mean? Like what we just saw tonight with Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, and we saw a lot of... going for a bitter end. No, going for a Tyler driver, reversed into a bitter end, reversed into a DDT. You kind of go, what? And then, thrown against the ropes, Tyler bouncing off the top. And the way that they were able, to come out of moves and go into different moves, that's kind of like, wow, look at all this. I mean, even like the airplane spin, I love that airplane spin moment in that match. People on their feet for an airplane spin. It's incredible. So, I kind of feel that if you're a brawler that just throws your hands a lot, driving people into the corner, stuff like that, it's harder to get a 5-star match out of that. So, I'm not the biggest fan of his in-ring style, but I do think that I think the Moxley character is more developed than the Ambrose one. And I think, in all fairness, he's only just starting. He got his freedom, last year? Was it last year? He got his freedom. So it's still relatively early for him. I see him very much being someone that's going to be like Kurt. I think he's out of WWE for 10 years. He might go back for one final run, one final WrestleMania moment, but he's done. I don't see him going back and joining the Shield or anything like this. He might join the Shield to go into the Hall of Fame, but yeah, I think he's very much out of the picture. Could Shane be the hacker, asks Jerry. He could, but I'm not expecting it. 7 minutes to go, and we've got a change at the top. Change at the top, my friends. We've got Armageddon 1999 is now in the lead by 4%. Days, if CM Punk ever comes back, just use your imagination. Where do you think WWE or AEW would put him straight away? They would put him in a feud near the top of the card. Could he come back as the hacker? I don't think he'd be the actual hacker. But he might be like the person that's overseeing that group or responsible for that group. But I don't see it. I don't see him being involved, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I think he would be right at the top of the card. He might have a feud with someone first. I think if he comes back, ironically, I'd like to see him feud with Triple H. It was him not wanting that match that drove him away. So it makes sense that that would be the first match, him coming back. Plus also Triple H represents the McMahons. And I kind of feel, I'd love for Triple H to say that he doesn't want him back. CM Punk returns and Triple H is, no one cleared this with me. I do not want him here. And I want Triple H to be dead against it. And for us to build towards Triple H versus CM Punk. And then CM Punk obviously wins that feud. And then I think you've got to be looking at moving him towards one of the belts. I think you've got to get that title on him. So, because he's going to be your best option, isn't he? So, yeah, I'd be looking at something like that. JS17 says, he was meant to be a lunatic because of the crazy stuff that he said. That's Vince's idea of an extreme lunatic. And I can imagine Vince saying that's good, such good shit, zip, in his retirement home with Linda nodding. Yeah, you might be right. I mean, like, when it comes to the promos, I mean, all of them were scripted, and I can't say that they really came across like a lunatic. But yes, I agree. I think you are right. My internet is bad, says Sonny. What wrestler is the closest to Orange Cassidy's gimmick? I think what's really great about Orange Cassidy is, I will admit that he has started to go a little too far for me. I like Orange. I'm on board with Orange. I'm a fan of Orange. There was just times in that ladder match, in particular, where that was for a championship opportunity, And I loved when he came out and went over to the commentary table and he was leaning over and he was like, what have I got to do? And he was like, what have I got to do? And they were like, right, you've got to get the ladder, set it up, get that chip, and then you will get an opportunity. Okay. And he's like, do you know what I mean? And I love that because we all have those moments at work. And it's like, I can understand him having that attitude. And then when he gets into the ring and he's like trying to set up the ladder and he's having trouble with it, I'm fine with that. But when he puts the ladder down and it's flat and he stands on it and he's trying to reach, I mean, it's quite clear you're not going to be able to reach. It's quite clear you're not going to be able to do that. And I do think some of the importance of this is for a title opportunity and your fans really want you to get that opportunity. I kind of felt like that. There was just moments in that match where I was like, I do love Orange, but he's going too far with this here. Right now is where he should be turning it on. When he can go. When he turns it on and he can wrestle. I'm all right with him. What have I got to do? And I loved, one of my favourite moments was when he jumped onto the back of, was it Brian Cage? And Brian Cage was climbing the ladder, but he was actually carrying Orange. That is so perfect for Orange Cassidy. Still in his gimmick, but he's still getting up the ladder. He's not having to use much effort, and he still might win the match. I mean, like, that is perfect for him. Perfect. I thought that was brilliant. So, yeah, there was some real good stuff that he did, but there was a few moments where I think he just went a little too far with it. But what is unique about him is I don't think there is anyone else. I've never seen anyone else in wrestling have that, what have I got to do, kind of attitude. And it is so relatable. So relatable. I said before, like, when I used to work in a music shop, when I would finish and I'd be about to go on holiday, the feeling that you would have, it's Friday, I'm not in work for 2 weeks, 2-week holiday, come on! It'd be amazing. And then, that night before you're about to go back on, like, the Sunday night and you're in work on Monday, or maybe you're going back to school or college or something, and on Sunday night, you're like tonight, maybe you're at work tomorrow and you're like, oh, God. So relatable. And he's just got that exact same thing, with wrestling. So it's something different, something I've not seen before. I can't say there's anyone like that. Right, let's have a look. Where are we with 1 minute to go? Armageddon 1999 is 4% ahead. Days I always wanted to see Dean Ambrose versus Brian Pillman. Imagine the tagline, Lunatic Fringe versus a plain lunatic. I'm going to watch some Netflix. See you later, Jake B. We are going to be finishing up here very soon as well. We're about 5 minutes or so away from wrapping up. Obviously, we've just got to get the result of what we're watching tonight. So it says that we got 1 minute to go. 1 minute to go, my friends. Don't forget, we are back tomorrow. We're back tomorrow for Raw. We're back on Tuesday for NWA Carneyland. We're back on Wednesday for NXT and AEW. Thursday, we're about to find out what we're going to be watching. Friday, SmackDown. Saturday, UFC 250. Sunday, NXT In Your House. And then we're back to Monday again. Next Sunday, we will try and fit in another one of these. I'm going to try. I mean, we have been doing like 2-hour streams on this channel, hour and a half and things like that. I'm going to try and keep them down to an hour. Just because at the moment, we're doing other things on this day as well. Like we just did that stream. Now we're doing this stream. Next week, we've got another stream. We've got the NXT In Your House stream. Right, here we go. Plendin. 4% in it. What is going to win? I think Money in the Bank is out of the running. Jerry says a wrestler named Danny Havoc has passed away. Not a name that's ringing a bell. Oh, there we go. Armageddon 1999. Woo! Ring the bells. C Wrestling's going to be pleased about that. That was one that C Wrestling wanted, so I think that means that I'm not getting pushed off any cliffs. Big breaking news. On Thursday, we're going to be watching Armageddon 1999. Armageddon 1999. Let's have a look at the card, shall we? Let's have a look at the card. Right, the card. This is good because it's got no spoilers on this. It literally, because I'm not going to be remembering the results for this, but it's literally just got the matches. So we've got a tag team battle royal. So on Thursday, this is what we'll be watching. Tag team battle royal. Mark Henry and the Godfather versus Edge and Christian versus the Acolytes versus Dudley Boys versus Hardy Boys versus Headbangers versus Too Cool versus the Mean Street Posse. That's a battle royal. Singles match, Steve Blackman versus Kurt Angle. Should be very good. WWF World Women's Title. This is an evening gown match. Ivory versus Jacqueline versus Miss Kitty versus BB. Right, so we've got some lovely ladies. Tag team match. We've got Rikishi and Viscera versus the Hollies. So Crash Holly and Hardcore Holly. We've got the British Bulldog versus D'Lo Brown versus Val Venus for the European title. We've got Kane versus X-Pac in a steel cage match. We've got Chyna, who's the Intercontinental Champion, taking on Jericho. So Chyna versus Jericho. We've got a World Tag Team title match, New Age Outlaws versus The Rock and Sock Connection. So The Rock is going to be on the show. We've got a World Heavyweight title match, Big Boss Man versus Big Show. Big Boss Man versus the Big Show? And then, wow, look at this for a main event. No holds barred. No holds barred. Triple H versus Vince McMahon. Triple H versus Vince McMahon. How about that for a main event? Wow. How about that, man? Some big names on that. Triple H, Vince McMahon, China, Jericho, Rock, Mankind, New Age Outlaws, British Bulldog. That is stacked. Killer Sasuke says, Days, I remember when the brand split in 2016 and Raw always had a cliffhanger and I couldn't wait for next Monday. Days, true story. Armageddon was criticised as a mid-carder pay-per-view. That's why I thought it would be fun to see what people think all these years later. Excellent. Wow, very, very good shout, because that main event of Triple H versus Vince McMahon, I will have seen that show because I always watched the pay-per-views. I never watched the Raws and things like that. But I won't have seen that since 1999. Straight up, I will not have seen that for 21 years. I've never gone back to watch it. If you'd have asked me what was on that show... In fact, Undertaker was on the poster. Who's Undertaker facing? Is he on that card? I'm super confused now, because Undertaker's not on that card. But I'm sure he is on the poster. Armageddon 1999. Let's have a look. That's the poster? Oh, it's gone. Oh, wow. There. That's the poster for it. Must be something to do with the Acolytes? Super confused. But excited all the same. Excited all the same. Don't spoil what happens. I don't know what happens. I can't remember what happens. I'm not spoiling anything. I don't know. Legit, I don't know. I cannot remember what happens. So I'm not spoiling anything. If anything, I'm confused as to where he is. I can't. There's no spoilers from me. I can't spoil anything. So shout out everyone. Shout out everyone that joined us. Have we gone past the hour mark? We have. We're done. We're done. We're done. We're done. NXT TakeOver Chicago. Awesome show. Thank you so much for joining us for that. Cheeky little hour-long episode. We know what we're watching on Thursday. I've got some great questions lined up for Tommy for that future episode as well. So we've done that as well. Had a little chat about wrestling. I kept you lot out of trouble so that you can't riot. I feel like I've my service here is done. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Really do appreciate it. Have a great evening wherever you are. Again, stay out of trouble. Stay safe. And I think that's it. I think we are done. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.